Okay, so here's what I did. You can see the length from the pivot point to the other pivot point, and it's nice and long now for max resolution. Normally that's what you would want to do for max resolution, but in this case I did it for another reason. And you can see here, after I cut off the stock arm, butterfly arm from the Walbro, I put on the PSP arm, and it has 832 set screws. I use red Loctite, and you can see I left some spring. I got the Teflon plastic sleeves behind there too, the stock one, and because I know DA always talks about leaving the spring tension or the butterfly could get jammed up in the carb. I'm not sure about the veracity of all that. Never seen that happen. Got a sneaking feeling it happened once years ago, and everybody's kind of stuck on that. And the new carbs don't feel the same way as the old carbs on that butterfly arm that comes out anyway. They seem, you know, not to have that big sloppy back and forth movement that the old ones did. But anyway, left some springs in there just to make everybody happy. And then yeah, I used some micro fasteners, 256 lock nuts, also with red Loctite on those, on 256 socket head bolts. But if I had to do it over again, I used 1/2 inch button head here on the ball link, and you know, these nuts are the same size as 440 nuts on the back in terms of thickness, so I didn't save anything by going 256, and the button heads would have been even smaller out here, so probably would have done that. And then, yeah, and this is micro fasteners button head 440, and Loctited that on too, even though these are all nylon lock nut nuts. And then ground flat spots, you know, on the stem that comes out, you know, for those set screws. And yeah, then the movement is pretty nice. You can see in there, open to almost full close. It's not quite closed for the idle. There's a little bit more room to close it, but that should get the idle about right. If this will focus in, but that turns out to be, yeah, there you go, 110, 110 on the throttle, and that's fine with me. Anything over 100 on a standard servo, non-programmed servo, works for me. I like to get more like 120, 125, even up to 130 if I can, but here I wanted to maintain this angle, so I have just a slight angle in it now, but I didn't want to get it too severe. If I went down a hole, I'd get a little more resolution, but I'd increase that angle. And this whole deal was all because I glued on that little piece of wood on each side for support, and I don't want to take it out. So all of this was to make that servo placement work. So by having a longer arm here, thanks to PSP and the extension I made, that extension too, I took a high-tech arm, and then I took and ground it thinner because they're so thick, you know, so make sure I have some clearance from the muffler for heat. And by making all of that nice and long, which you can see how long that is, pivot point to pivot point there, then I could make this longer and maintain resolution. Thereby I could take care of this more acute angle I had before and make it more of a soft angle. And now, you know, it all works nicely. And yeah, real happy with the geometry on that, and the freedom and the distance from the mufflers for heat, the resolution. It's all good. There you have it.